Oop, got it.
Hello, everyone. Today I'm very excited. I've had Stacy decide to join me and sharing her addiction recovery story with us. And I'm just very grateful that she's decided to join. She has come such a far way since, when she was in addiction and doing that transformation. Her story aligns a lot with mine as far as how we kind of got to where we are now and what we are doing within the addiction community and recovery community. So, my name is Julia. I am the host of Holistic Recovery Guidance. I am a coach as well, helping individuals get through addiction and addictional behaviors into the recovery side. So, Stacy, why don't you introduce yourself and then you can go into your story.
Hey y'all, I'm Stacy. I am 32 and I live in the great state of Texas. And if you guys are seeing the video of me before Julia spoke, that was my daughter. She'll probably pop in and out. So I'm just going to go ahead and apologize. I'm a mom and a business owner and all the other things. So, even if you're looking at the background, we're moving in a couple months and things are hectic. So you'll have to bear with us through the interview. But I'm really excited to be here. I'm super excited to share my story with you guys. Wow, what a long journey, but beautiful one that has been. So my story in the nitty gritty raw form, I started using multiple substances when I was at the age of 10. I am a child of neglect and abandonment. So naturally, without realizing it as a kid, when I started using, I was using to numb my emotions because I didn't know how to control them or feel them or even just acknowledge them at the time. I mean, I was 10. Let's get real. But as far as my usage goes, I went from using from the age of 10 to 16 on to 18, all the way until I was about 26 when I got pregnant with my daughter. I stopped using while I was pregnant for the most part. I'll be honest, and as terrible as this is to admit, I did smoke weed during my pregnancy. You guys feel how you want to about that. For me, it's like a no-no. I'm actually pregnant again with our second one, so it has been completely, sorry about that, completely sober pregnancy, and wow, what a blessing that is. But the transition initially started with my firstborn. After she was born, I fell back into some addictive states, and I realized the piece of addiction was much bigger than, hang on, sweetie, much bigger than what I had really understood at the time. So I started learning things about my body, how to heal myself physically, how to heal myself emotionally, mentally, and even spiritually. When you get into recovery, you have an understanding that making the choice to be sober is one thing, but living a life of recovery is completely different. Anybody can make it, but not. And sorry, y'all, I'm going to try and mute this. Not everyone can um, choose actively to recover their life. So I am 32, stopped using pretty much at the time I was around 27, 26 years old, and I have built a life in recovery. What that looks like is taking plant-based supplements every day to heal my body. I learned about gut health, the relation between our mental states, our emotional states, how it ties in with what our addiction does to our bodies, and as well as physically feeling good. When you're struggling mentally with depression and anxiety and addiction, it isn't just problems of addiction, it's that your body is out of whack. You're physically, your gut is so imbalanced that it is causing your brain to have these negative side effects of depression and anxiety. And when we cure our guts and balance them out, we are then able to free ourselves from depression and anxiety, essentially. So my first step in recovery was really learning about my body and healing my body itself, because once I was able to heal my body, then I was really able to start working on the emotional and mental side of it. Um, the emotional and mental side of it, y'all, is an ongoing process. And I'm sure it will be for a really long time. The older I get, the more I uncover emotionally, spiritually, and mentally in me. Somewhere, I always tell people it's somewhere between gut health and the grace of Jesus Christ that I am sober, going on almost 3 years in July. I am a business owner. I am a stay-at-home mom of one, but now almost two. Um, and I have a healthy, successful relationship with her dad that I've been with for almost 5 years now. And I couldn't have those things if I was still addicted. So, if I can give anyone some advice in their recovery journey, it's to understand that it's building blocks. Start with your body first, then work on your mental and emotional sides. Then go for the things that you freaking want. Seriously, just because you have a terrible past doesn't mean you can't have a great future. Like, you want to own a business, go for it. If you want to be a social influencer, go for it. If you want to, I don't know, make Legos or toys for kids, write books, tell your story, do it, whatever it is that your heart desires, there's a reason it's there in your heart. There is a reason. Go for it, because you can definitely achieve these things. But your body is key, and what it tells you is so important. So remember that first.
I can't agree more because without tackling the internal crazy that was going on at the beginning, when you take out the harmful substances that we put into our body, and it's mounds of things that just don't belong, right? Like all those things that are blocking our emotions, blocking pain, blocking, all everything really, from being digested to, our brain being fed, all these different things. And without having those particular pieces healed, how do we work further down the line with, whether you want to work through your emotional stuff, which is huge, but how you want to do it is another, side to it, right? I look at the holistic side of things because I think what we put into our body should be, like you're talking about plant-based, right? What we're putting on our body, I, have switched all my products now to being very much more organic products, healthy products that, whether it's moisturizers to shampoo and conditioner, you name it, right? It just because we absorb so much, like our skin actually does absorb so much more than we are actually aware of. And it actually makes a really long difference. Not, right at the beginning, you can't really notice it, but the longer you take that journey, like you're talking about 2 years in recovery now, 2.5 years, I think you said. Um, and you look at the lifeline to that, right? And how much you have changed over that time frame, and how beautiful it is that you're a stay-at-home mom. You got the second one on the way, and you're living your dream. You're doing everything you can. You're building a business and doing what you want to be doing. And how do you do that without having all those other things in check, right?
Can't. You can't. You can't.
Absolutely.
Things prohibit you from being able to do that. I'll just give you a prime example. Let's say you want to run a marathon. Okay. Well, running a marathon requires you to get up and run every day. But if you don't have the energy to put your dang shoes on, if you don't have the mental capacity to say, I need to be responsible, get up and put my shoes on, and you allow your emotions to dictate you instead, you'll never run that marathon because you can't put your shoes on.
I love that. That's the starting point to, how you get from the addictive mindset into a recovery mindset and living in recovery. Can you dive a little bit deeper into, what does your daily life look like? I mean, is recovery, yeah, probably close to the top of your list, or is that something that's like, it's just you've changed your life so much that that's not something that you live every day for, being like, I got to do all these things to hold up my recovery, or what does that look like?
That is a very great question, and the answer to that is going to be a little tricky, I think, personally, because here's my thoughts behind it. If I don't have my recovery, I don't have anything,
Mhm.
right? I'll fall back into the same terrible situation and bad choices that I was in. So my life, I have over time developed it to do the things that are actively putting me in the places with the people and the situations that I want them to be. And for me, that is recovery. For me, that looks like getting up in the morning with my daughter, having some breakfast, having some coffee. One moment, baby. Working my business, doing the things I need to do, which for you guys to understand deeper, I am a social influencer and I talk about my recovery journey because I want to encourage people in their sobriety. So even for me, down to what I do as a business has developed into recovery. It's me sharing my story. It's me teaching people about their bodies and plant-based supplements and all the things that go into that, down to teaching my daughter how to handle her emotions so that she is not put in the same position that I am. So to answer your question, yes, in a nutshell, everything that I do is revolving that has gone in different stages throughout my life. You know, my first stage wasn't necessarily like, okay, now I'm gonna get out the door and run that marathon. My first stage was, let's get my shoes on, right? Let's get my feet wet. Let's get sober for a certain period of time. Let's get my body aligned. Well, I've done those steps, right? So in my journey to recovery, when you start being a recovered person, you naturally are doing things that are going to enhance your recovery. And they're going to be, how do I put this? You're going to be recovered, but you're going to be building off of that recovery. Does that make sense? Like you're still doing things that promote you in a healthy way in the life that you want to, but you never forget the stage of putting your shoes on. Does that answer your
Oh
question?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I would say I think that's kind of where when we first talked how we kind of connected on that other level, which is, you know, we're doing the things that we want to do, and like you're saying, it's still recovery based, right? Like there's still that underlining making yourself a better person, doing what you need to do, right? Taking the supplements that you want to take to be able to run that marathon at the end of the day, right? And it's the same thing for me as I have joined different community, like the health and wellness community. I'm watching to whatever I'm putting into my body, to on my body, you know, all the above, right? And it's changed overall my the way that I function, the way that I react, and the way that I react to different things, right? So it's a different way of living, and it does take time. I know it doesn't happen overnight, but I think it's about, you know, when I talk to you, it's like educating the, you know, recovery community about how to make that shift, what they can do. Like you said, the two things to look out for first, you know, heal the body, heal the mind, you know, go into your emotions, you know, look into all those, you know, pieces, and then start to achieve those goals that you really want for yourself, whether that's being, you know, a social influencer or a recovery coach or a social worker, something along those lines, right? Whatever it is that makes you feel happy, proud, fulfilled at the end of the day, instead of, you know, I don't know what your whole past was with addictions, but you know I lived in a lot of rough places at some point in some time because that's just where it took me, and that's what ended up happening. But we don't ever want to go back there. And I think now, with the momentum and the love that we give to ourselves and put into our bodies every day is so important, just to keep that change going. And you actually want to every day. It's like, I notice if I miss a day of like taking the supplements I need to take, or my energy level, it's about checking in and being aware of what's going on inside.
100%. You definitely hit the nail on the head for me. I think that a big part of recovery, when you get to a certain stage and you can feel the beauty of life again, is wanting to share that with other people. And it's not because you want to say like, oh, this is where I've been and this is the terrible bad things that I've been through. Let me tell you about all the stuff I've been through. Like, I've got some terrible baggage, girl. I could tell you all about some stuff, but notice I didn't tell you for a reason, because it's not that I'm embarrassed of it. It's because I don't want to focus on the bad things that were a part of my addiction. I want to focus on the things that have healed me. I want to focus on the goodness of it, and I want to focus on the outcome of that. So for me, making a business, one moment, sweetie. Me making a business that has shared my redemption story, shared my recovery story, and teaching people has taken it like a full circle, a season circle, so to speak. You know, like I started out in addiction. I went through terrible things. I became a mother. I changed my life around. And now I'm planting those good seeds that God graced me with in other people's lives. I'm teaching other women how to support themselves. I'm teaching other women how to heal their bodies. I'm teaching other women that, like, hey, there's other moms who go through addiction issues. There's other moms who understand the struggle between the wine at the end of the night, but not choosing to.
Think I lost you there.
To
Oh.
say all that, when you get to a certain point in your recovery, you want to water the seeds of somebody else.
Mm.
You want to take care of yourself, but you also want to give back. You see another addict, be like, no, 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 girl. There's a better way. You ain't got to live like that, right? Like, you want to help that person too. And I think that that's a big part of the recovery lifestyle, is taking what you learn and the healing and the grace you've received and dumping it into somebody else.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think that's part of, making that change that we want to see. I mean, I keep saying, and it's following me around a lot this last month anyways, and it's kind of about um we're being stronger together, working together to create that better world, that bigger impact that we're looking for, because we don't have to stay in that addictive mindset, that addictive way of living. There is absolutely a better way. And I think that's wonderful that, you're here with me today to share with people that there is a better way. And we can help you get there, right? Just by being an influencer and helping and sharing our story and how we got there, and what it is that we did, and hopefully help more people get to the other side, is what I call it.
Mhm. For sure, definitely. And I think also that when we're blessed, right? And most people are gonna be like, I'm blessed financially. I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about the blessing of sobriety, the blessing of having a second chance. When you're blessed, be a blessing. Like, that's straight up is a thing in my brain that I think about every day. Like, I'm blessed to have a second chance, because some people don't get it. Some people don't. I don't know if any of you guys watching this, or even Julia, there are a ton of addiction recovery groups, and there are thousands of people still in active addiction, struggling on how to get out of it. I mean, I see posts daily saying, I'm having this problem. I was clean for 3 months and I relapsed and I don't know what I'm going to do. And I'm just like, in awe. Like, if I spent every hour that I had commenting people's posts on how to develop themselves out of their addiction, I would be up for like literally 24 hours a day, because there's just so much of it. And I feel like if you're in this recovery group with Julia, take her coaching, y'all, and let her help you. Take some supplements. If you need a recommendation, she's got one, I've got one, whatever the case may be. But like, y'all, there's such a better way than to be stuck in you're silly, stuck in active addiction. Like, and also to PS and piggyback on this, like, feeling emotions sucks. It sucks, y'all. It's not fun, but you can find freedom and grace from that, because on the other side of the ugly emotion are beautiful ones. And if you numb the bad emotions, you numb the good ones too. And nobody wants to live that way.
No, absolutely not. I think that's gorgeous that it's about healing. And then you're right about seeing people post that, maybe they're 4 years, 2 months, whatever it might be. I find unless you do I don't want to say that our way is the only way. There are many ways to get, clean and sober, absolutely. But if you are stuck and you're just, like you said, if you're taking something that's, blocking the bad, you're blocking the good as well, right? Like, there is no balance there. So yeah, unleashing the emotions is one thing, and then also, have that plan and have the guidance and support to kind of not make it so crazy, know that it's a short time frame, and then really start to heal the body and the mind in all these different ways. I know supplements are just one thing that we're talking about today, but spiritually as well, right? I mean, I do the Reiki, energy healing. I do different breath work. I always suggest all these other modalities that really help to like just put you in a better mindset, in a better place of living. And I came to a funny kind of conclusion the other day, and it was very much kind of the way that we're talking right now. And it's once I healed my mental state of mind, then I went on to my spirituality and healing emotions into all those other beautiful things. And that's when I found my purpose and being able to give back to the community. That was how that kind of came through for me. And I kind of see that with you as well, right? You did all that first, and then now we're finally being able to give back and actually help and support other people. So beautiful. Thank you for sharing, Stacy.
Ah, welcome. And sorry I didn't dive too much into the grungy side of my story. You know, if anybody has questions personally, you can drop them in the comments. I'm happy to leave them. Again, it's not that I am not willing to share it. I just think that like everybody who has an addiction story has a nasty one, right? There's no beautiful addiction story. It's all gross. We all do really bad stuff and make bad choices. And I just rather not dwell too much on those thoughts and more just breathing life into you guys. So thank you so much for the opportunity to be a part of your group. And if you guys want to connect, you can definitely shoot me a Facebook friend request. I love to connect with new people, especially people of addiction. And girl and boy, you watching this, I will breathe some life into you. So come on.
Absolutely. I'll have all the information in the write up that goes along with the video. If you want to contact Stacy or I at any point in any time, feel free to do so. And let's make a big impact in the recovery community and get those sobriety dates like way raised.
Yeah, that's right. You want to say bye?
Bye.
Say bye,
Thanks for
Julia.
joining.
See ya.
Bye bye.